Chapter 13, Away from It All. The next morning you wake up bright and early in Carter's bed, but when you turn over to reach for him, his side of the bed is empty. Carter! You hear humming filtering in from the kitchen, and moments later he appears in the doorway with a tray. Good morning, beautiful. How about breakfast in bed? That smells delicious. It's just pancakes, granola, fruit, hard-boiled egg. Nothing fancy. It's plenty fancy. Do you know how long it's been since someone made me breakfast in bed? Too long, I'm guessing. Bingo. Plus you made coffee. As Carter sets the tray on the bed, you lean over and kiss him. You get extra kudos for coffee. Laughing, he climbs into bed beside you. I just hope you like it strong. As the two of you tuck into the fluffy pancakes, fresh fruit, and between sips of coffee, you give him a sidelong look. You seem in better spirits than last night. It helps that I've got today off, and honestly, after the gala, I want to forget all about the drama and my coworkers' opinions for the next 24 hours. He reaches over to squeeze your thigh. Today, I just want to focus on what matters. Us. God, that sounds perfect. You take another bite of the pancakes and try to let all your worries from yesterday fade away. So what do you want to do? What would take your mind off things? I'd love to show you one of my favorite spots in the whole world, if you don't mind a hike, that is. I'm in. I used to love to hike. Nat and Gina and I used to go hiking on weekends before our kids had so many extracurricular activities. It'll be good to flex my hiking muscles again. Do some forest bathing. Is that a thing? Are you even taking me to a forest? After we finish eating, you can find out. There's just one problem. I didn't exactly bring any hiking clothes with me. About that, I got some new outdoor gear recently, and I might have picked up a few things I thought you'd like. Really? He gets up to open his closet. You sneak a peek at his very organized clothes as he pulls out a colorful tank top, a loose jacket, and some khaki shorts. I hope I got your size right. Only one way to find out. It's nice. You set your plate aside and then hop out of bed, change into the outfit he picked up for you. You can feel his admiring gaze on you as you change, and when you finish fastening the watch on your wrist, you turn to him with a smile. Good news, I think it fits. Oh yeah, I'd say so. He grins, openly looking you up and down with affection in his eyes. You saunter over to him for a kiss. How did you pick something so perfectly, me? Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but I think about you a lot. Laughing, you kiss him again. Sounds like it's mutual, and because I never feel like I say it enough, thank you. You can thank me after we make it through this hike. As you smile at him for a moment, you can almost believe that everything's going to be okay. Carter drives you well out of the city until you're surrounded by trees and greenery. He parks at the entrance to a hiking trail, and you both get out and stretch. It's so beautiful out here, I feel refreshed already. You know what would help us stay refreshed? He holds up his phone. What if we turn these off today? No spam calls, distractions, just the two of us out on an adventure. You're not on call or anything, right? Nope, I'm free and clear. Then let's do it. Time for a digital detox. It's actually really good for you. You both power down your phones. When your screen goes black, it feels like a literal weight has been lifted from your shoulders. Goodbye, phone. And it's just now me and you, Carter. Carter takes your hand and squeezes it gently. Sounds pretty damn perfect to me. Me too. So where's this favorite spot you wanted to show me? This way. He leads you up to the trail where the trees cast apple shadows over the path. With every step you take, you find yourself relaxing more and more. It'll take us about an hour to get there, but it should be easy going. Plenty of time to stop and smell the roses. He gestures to a bush as you pass. Or the ferns? I'm not great with plants. You get a pass for knowing more about the human anatomy than anyone should have to. Plus, this is a fern. I think those trees over there are beech trees. Wow. While I was memorizing muscle groups, someone else was studying local flora. I like the outdoors. When I was younger, I had this dream about visiting a national park in every state. How'd that work out? Only made it to 3, but I had a blast doing it. Hey, same number as me. I did the Yellowstone the summer I graduated high school. Then later I made it to Zion and Bryce. How did you finish college and med school early and still make time for that stuff? He shrugs. Being in medicine is how and why. Even while you're still in training, you hear about all the different ways a body can go wrong, how short life can be. So even when I was fresh off a 6-day shift or sleep deprived as hell, I'd make time to get outside, seize the day. You smile at him, feeling a surge of affection for this gorgeous, surprisingly wise man, but then your thoughts shift somewhere darker. Is that how he's been surviving since the news about us got out? He just had to run away from his work just to... You startled out of your thoughts as Carter gently takes your hand. Hey, try not to think about it. How did you... Because I know you, then I know that what worried Fiona looks like. I know it's hard, but we've spent plenty of time agonizing over what other people think. Just be here with me today, okay? We can worry about the rest of tomorrow. You're right. We came out here to be in the moment. You take a deep breath and try to push all the thoughts of the gala away. I just want to focus on you. Us. I know it's easier said than done, but I'll keep trying if you will. I will, I promise. The two of you press on, walking past towering trees, boulders that have been sculpted by wind and time. It is breathtaking out here. Right? It is a great place to get away from the bustle of the city. How did you find this place? It's not exactly on the beaten path. Last year I was looking for a getaway that wasn't too far from the city, but was far enough that no one I knew would be here. So I rented a car, drove for a while, eventually stumbled on this place, and I've been coming back ever since. Do you like the scenery that much? I like having a place where all the hardest parts of my job can't follow me. When I'm here, I try to put all of that aside and just exist. He gestures at all the greenery around you. Distant bird song filters through the trees as you stop to drink it in. Normally, I come here solo, but I just figured I could trust you with my secret spot. Carter, I'll have to show you some of my favorite places, too. We can trade secret getaway spots. Yes, please. I've got a Wednesday off next week. Point taken. I'll find somewhere fun to take you. But while we're here, what's your favorite thing about this place? The best part is at the end of the hike, but we're coming up on one of the highlights now. Carter points out a massive tree just off the path. I've climbed that tree at least a dozen times. It's got a crook near the top of the branches where I can like to catch my breath and take in the view. You climbed that tree, like, all the way up there. Not a fan of heights, huh? I just don't want to plunge to my untimely death. You're a doctor. You know how fragile human bodies can be, so I'm not looking to tempt fate. I don't think the odds of falling are that high. Pun not intended, but, they aren't zero. Right. It's your call, but the view up there is gorgeous. If you want to try the climb, I'll be with you every step of the way. That was number 12 on your list, right? Face your fears. I've got plenty of those waiting for me back at home, but conquering this one does sound weirdly cathartic. Facing it might make whatever's waiting for me in the real world a little easier. As long as you'll spot me. On a scale of so easy a toddler could do it to a professional gear required, how hard a climb are we talking about? A low 3. Wait, out of 5 or 10? You tell me. He leads you over to the tree and pats its sturdy trunk. Nice low branch here, you see. Not even a climb, you just take a big step like this. He hops up onto the branch. And now the next one's in arm's reach, see? That felt like a 3.5 out of 10, but I'll give it a shot. You take a deep breath and step up to the tree, trying to ignore your sweaty palms. Grab right there and then stick your foot in that little hole. If you let me die, I will come back and haunt you for the rest of your natural life. Good news for us both, then. You aren't gonna die. He holds out a hand and you wipe your palms on your clothes and reach for the lowest tree branch. Climb. You grab the supporting branch Carter pointed out, hauling yourself up as you plant your foot on the branch he's standing on. And before you know it, you've hopped onto the branch beside him. Holy crap, I did it! Grinning proudly, he leans over to give you a peck on the cheek. And you made it look good. Now, we just have to do that 7 more times. Great! Wonderful! No sweat! Grumbling underneath your breath, you haul yourself up to the tree, using the other branches for support. The things I do for this man. Carter guides you each step of the way, showing you handholds and sometimes helping to lift you up to them. Almost there. You're doing great. Really, I feel like we just left it. You'll make the mistake of looking down. Your stomach lurches. The whole world seems to spin. Carter, maybe this was a bad idea. Yeah, you got this. Just look up. Focus on the next branch you need to grab. His voice is soothing, so you swallow hard and do what he says. You keep climbing up, 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 until you reach a set of branches that have plenty of space to sit like a natural hammock. Ah, nature, my friend. I did it. Thank you for your coaching. I helped. It's not like I carried you. You carried me emotionally, which is the most important kind of support. Laughing, he leans against the tree trunk and you find a secure spot to lean against him. And one of my favorite kinds, win-win. With his arm wrapped around your waist, all your fears melt away. You just drink in the fresh air and the endless, gorgeous view. Whatever the world throws at us, Carter and I can handle it. You turn to see him smiling at you. Worth the climb, right? It's great. We're up here where no one can touch us. I feel like that's foreboding. Carter nods and takes your hand, rubbing his thumb over your knuckles. No one could ever catch us if they tried. You beat my record time climbing up here. I did? By a whole minute. Carter, you're joking. I'm serious. I timed you and everything. He holds up his watch, grinning. Wow, I guess fear is a strong motivator. Got you up here, so whatever works. You lean into the tree, enjoying the cool breeze and the view that seems to stretch on for miles. If you look at the west, you can see the start of the lake. It's great for swimming, and they do canoe and paddle boat rentals. We should rent one next time. Classic couples activity. I'm in, if you are. Carter points out another spot in your eyes. Follow his finger. Over there is a dog park where I spent way too many hours making friends with strangers' dogs. You say that like it's a bad thing. It is when it makes me consider impulse decisions at the local animal shelter. But, speaking of animals, there's this one hawk that used to nest near... There's a flutter of wings, and then a hawk lands on a branch just above your head. See, told you. He's gonna poop on you now. It stares down at you in your corner with an imperious glare. Oh my god. Am I dreaming? You lower your voice to whisper to him. Seriously, pinch me, because I feel like I just slipped into some Snow White fantasy. Hawk's piercing screech is almost deafening. I can pinch you if you really want, but I'm pretty sure he's real. I can't believe he's just sitting there. It feels like a good omen. It might be an omen that we're sitting in his house. Whoops, that could be it. The hawk gives you one last long look before launching into the air and zooming away. Oh my god. Now I feel like I might be dreaming. Let's test that theory. You pull him in for a kiss. He groans softly as you swipe your tongue against his. The familiar scent of him mingles with the fragrance of the boughs and the clear, crisp air as you kiss him breathless. Still feel like you're dreaming? I feel like you might be a dream, but I'm very, very awake. You kiss him again and he cups your cheek when you finally pull back. You know, now that we're up here, it's hard to remember what I was ever afraid of. All it took was a little climb and a lot of encouragement. Yeah, try not to look down. More like a lot of bravery. You're a fighter, Fiona. He strokes the pad of his thumb over your cheek. Remember when we get back on solid ground, okay? I'll try. With Carter's help, you make your way down the tree, but that confidence stays with you like an ember warm in your chest. Face your fears. 13's Choose Your Happiness. I think that's the last one. You and Carter continue along the trail, chatting and enjoying the scenery. Not long after he points out the next trail marker, you see him reach for his phone. Hey, no phones today, remember? You're not on call. I know, there's just this one patient I can't stop thinking about. She was in surgery 2 days ago, and I heard she had a rough night last night. I just want to check if the attending doctor on shift sent me any updates. You take his hand and lace your fingers through his. It's sweet that you're so worried, but what did we promise to do today? To focus on the here and now. Correct. You deserve to unwind too. You can't do good work if you never let yourself recharge, and everyone deserves a break. Especially my hard-working boyfriend. He takes a deep breath and then nods. I guess the world wouldn't end if I disconnect for one day. Thanks for the reminder. Just trying to return the favor. He squeezes your hand and then finally lets go as you round a bend in the trail. There's going to be some elevation gain in the next stretch. Nothing too bad, but just watch your step. As he leads the way up a small hill, a brief wave of anxiety hits you. I'm not 26 anymore. I don't know if I can keep up with him. You keep the thought to yourself and make it up the hill just a few steps behind him, but... How about a breather and a sunscreen break? We've been hiking for an hour and a half. We both need some. Ah, good call. As you catch your breath, you dig the sunscreen out of the backpack and squeeze some into your hand. You'd think I'd be better about sunscreen as a doctor, but my friends always have to remind me. Well, one good thing about hitting 40, after years my doctor reminding me, the habit finally stuck. I've actually never been reminded once by a doctor, ever. I have purse, sunscreen, suitcase, bedside, bathroom, and probably more that I'm forgetting. It is important. I'm glad you keep up with it. So is my skin. Now come here. He bows his head as you reach up and gently applies sunscreen to his face, taking your time to rub it in. I could get used to this. You laugh and squeeze more sunscreen into your hands. Alright then, give me your arm. He obediently sticks out his right arm and you massage the sunscreen onto it, enjoying the play of his muscles underneath your fingertips. Once he's sufficiently sunscreened, he takes the tube from you and eyeing you with a grin. Your turn. Where do you want some? Would you get my shoulders? Happily. Just turn around for me. He rubs the lotion in your shoulders and you let your head drop, sighing as his hands rub your slightly sore muscles. Oh, that feels nice. I'm happy to loosen up their shoulders anytime. Just say the word. Once you're both fully covered in sunscreen, you put away the tube and grab your trusty water bottle. You hand Carter the bottle and he takes a long, slow sip. You really came prepared, huh? With my trail knowledge and you being ready for anything, we make a good pair. The thought warms your heart as you rifle through your hiking bag for one last thing. Speaking of being ready for anything, I also brought extra snacks. Oh, good call. I usually try to bring some granola bars so I can fuel up on the go. Whoa there, hotshot. I think my homemade shortbread and crackers deserve a little more respect than being a snack on the go. No, I'm down to stop and take a proper snack break if you are. There are all kinds of beautiful spots around her. Glancing through the trees, you spy a break in the tree line not far off, where the grass of the small meadow sways in the breeze. Like that meadow. Yeah, looks like a great place to stop and eat. As birdsong filters through the woods, you also realize just how much privacy the two of you have out here. It'll be way easier to enjoy the solid ground instead of up in a tree. Stop for a proper picnic. Come on, we deserve an actual break. A break with home-baked treats from my girlfriend? Sounds perfect. You lead the way down a smaller foot trail towards the meadow you spotted. And the two of you step out into an open space full of swaying grass and delicate wildflowers. Nice. I can't believe I've never stopped out here before. Past me was missing out. But now present you gets to enjoy it with present me. And with all these bees, as long as they don't mess with our food, I don't mind the company. I saw you pack a small blanket earlier. Why don't you spread that out and I'll plate the crackers, cheese, and cookies. Carter gives you a playful salute. Yes, ma'am. Before long, he has a picnic blanket laid out, and you've set up an artful array of snacks on the small platter you brought. You both help yourselves to the homemade baked goods and well-paired cheese. Carter lets out a small happy noise. God, this is a good spread. You put way more thought into trail fuel than I do. You give him a playful nudge. You might have done more traveling than me, but I've had more years to get hikes in. He lifts a cracker loaded with cheese to you in a salute. And I am so happy to benefit from your wisdom. Yeah? Maybe this age gap thing has its benefits. You think I'm wise. God, will you leave the age gap shit alone? It's starting to be annoying. You think I'm wise. And beautiful and funny and incredible baker. Go on. And smart, ambitious, brave, mind-blowingly good, and laughing, you cut him off with a kiss. Okay, point taken. You take another bite of the brie and crackers. It feels like we're a million miles away from the hustle and bustle of the city. It's nice, right? I haven't been on a picnic in ages. Carter groans with happiness when he takes a bite of your fresh-baked bread. Oh, I haven't had bread this good in ever. This should be illegal. Bread should not be this good. I'll have to keep the recipe a secret then. As long as you keep making some for me, I won't tell. And since you brought the food, how about something to wash it down with? He reaches into his backpack, produces a green thermos. He unscrews the lid and holds it out to you. I brought some wine just in case we found a spot to sit and sip. I guess. Wine to go with your bread, but who puts it in a thermos? I would have gone with coffee. I'm serious. It's been a tiring hike. What do you want? Coffee. Wow, we really are a good pair. I give him a drink. You pour some wine into the lid of the thermos and lift it up to his lips. Your gazes meet, and you look in his eye, makes your heart flutter. Thirsty? Always. He takes a long sip, and when he's finished, you wipe away a bead of wine from his lower lip with your thumb. Much better. You lift the thermos to your lips and take a sip of your own as he smiles at you. You know, this reminds me of a cake I've been planning for a grand opening. How so? I decided to take some inspiration from our winery trip. I learned so much about good cooking wine versus a sweet wine. So I'm making a wine sauce for a delicate yellow sponge cake topped with fresh berries. At least that's the plan. Ah, the winery made that much of an impression on you, huh? It did, thanks to my boyfriend. He grins at you. Well, I think it's a genius idea. Wine and dessert is a classic pairing for a reason. You spot a pair of fat, fuzzy bumblebees that are flitting around from flower to flower. And so are the bees and honey. That's it. That's what now? I want to do a honeycomb cake for the opening too, but I've been stumped on how to decorate it. But what if you put the little sugar bees on the honeycomb pieces? You read my mind. It's perfect. Everyone's gonna want to take their own bee slice home. I hope so. Warmed by the sun and each other's company, you finish your snacks and lie down on the blanket next to him. Carter, I'm really glad you brought me out here. You're the one who spotted this meadow. I just convinced you to go hiking. Still, credit where it's due. He pulls you into his arms and you snuggle against his chest. After living my life for someone else for so long, being inspired like this again feels like a gift. You deserve it, Fiona. His eyes meet yours, and the affection shining in them makes you breathless. You deserve the world. You tilt your head towards Carter and pull him into a kiss. He tastes like sweet wine you've been sipping. Straddle him. Debatable, but right now, all I want is you. You lift yourself up and climb on top of him, straddling his hips. Fiona. You bend down and kiss him again, his mouth hot on yours. His hands grip your waist, holding you flush against him so both of you can feel the delicious friction where your bodies meet. You kiss until you're dizzy from the taste of him, and eventually you pull back to catch your breath. Looks like the sun's getting higher. No, and as much as I hate to say it, we should get moving before it's too hot out. He reaches up to brush his thumb over your lower limb. How about we pick this back up when we get home tonight? He pressed one last kiss to his lips as a promise of what's to come. We'd better. After leaving the meadow, you hike onward, eventually zigzagging up a small slope, until you arrive at a beautiful viewpoint atop a cliff overlooking a glittering lake below. I guess I could keep up with Carter after all. I made it here without melting into a sweaty, wheezing mess. He turns to you, smiling, with the sunlight framing his head like a halo. I told you it'd be worth the hike. How do you feel? I feel happy to be alive. I haven't felt this good in I don't know how long. You glance over at him, beaming. It feels extra good to be on top of the world with you. He watches you with a soft smile as you take in the view. You slide your arm around his waist and tug him close. So, has my prescription for a day of distraction done its job? You reply by pulling him into a kiss. Yes, Dr. Dawson. This was exactly what we both needed. Then he grabs you and throws you off. This'll be the end of you. And so the end of the story. That's it. Close the book. The hike back is over before you know it. The two of you pack up your hiking gear and toss everything in a Carter's trunk. Why don't we come here again next weekend? Check out one of the other trails. I'm working next weekend, unfortunately, but maybe the one after that? It's a date. Good. And today's not over yet. We deserve a hearty dinner after all the exercise. Let me see how late my favorite Italian place is still open. You both turn your phones on at the same moment, but Carter's is immediately flooded with a barrage of text notifications and missed calls. What's going on? I don't... Scans the text and his face immediately falls. Damn it, the patient I was worried about crashed. Hospital's been trying to reach me for a consult before she goes into surgery. Your own phone finally comes to life, and that's when there's only one text waiting from you. From your ex. Is he with you? Shit. Your stomach lurches as Carter frantically texts his colleagues back, but he puts his head in his hands. God damn it. This isn't your fault. You weren't on call. But I still could have left my phone on. I always leave it on for emergencies. I should have known better. You shouldn't be tied to your work 24/7. You deserve to disconnect if you... I can't talk about this right now, Fiona. I'm sorry, I have to get back. Okay. You climb into the car. Carter races back towards the hospital. Your heart sinks as he dials one of his colleagues. Dr. Sejapur, I'm here. Fill me in. What's going on? Deja vu hits you like a wave. It's just like so many days with Sid, where your plans fell apart because his work had to come first. And it should. It's an emergency. But you can't shake that queasy feeling in the pit of your stomach. What if he can't be with me and do his job the way he needs to? Without further ado, before I have to say what I gotta say, please remember that if you did enjoy the work, to like, share, and subscribe. Pretty much I had to re-record this. There was an issue, so yeah, isn't that fun? Anyway, with that being said, let me say the following. The best way to put this is, you have to learn a work-life balance. You can't be consumed in your work 24/7. If you're going to do that and opt for that, then don't bring people along. Not kidding. You can't hook, line, and sinker someone and be like, yeah, no, I love you, love spending time with you, doing all this stuff, and then you're like, oh man, I need to stay at the hospital just like her ex did. Stay at the hospital, do the work always comes first, and I get it, he has an important job, but he wasn't on call, right? And so basically, there comes a time and a point where you have to go, I have to have a life, right? I have to have relationships, I have to have a family, I have to have these things. Or don't. But no one can feel sorry for you because you went and chose your professional life over life. You know, your personal life, your relationships, your family, things like that. Don't come crying because you chose that. I'm not even kidding. Um, I've met people of all walks of life. Some have chose this route. And then, they finally one day wake up when they're 40s, going on 50s, somewhere in that bracket, and they're like, man, I don't have a wife, I don't have kids, or I don't have a husband, I don't have kids. And all of a sudden, some of them will opt for, like, doing like frozen eggs or something. They're like, yeah, no, I'll just, wait until I'm older or whatnot. That's not always a guarantee either. And then you've also got to find a guy that literally and figuratively wants to commit to that or whatnot, unless you just want to, choose some random dude, right? And for guys, we don't really have a choice. Like, we're just, we work 24/7, and, for those of us that do choose the professional path, and then it's like there's no option for, that. And then we've got to be out there, and we've got to, try and find someone ourselves. And once you hit that time of your life, those years, things, yeah. Like, I hate to say it, but being a guy and focusing on your professionalism and your personal life and whatnot, it's a pro and con for each of us, right? For male and female, but for guys, it's a lot harder. I'm gonna be honest with you. For guys, it's a lot harder. And then let me throw this one out to you, right? Since we're ironically covering this book, is, there are people who are male or female that choose to pursue someone who's younger. Because, again, they missed out on all those younger years, right? So in a way, they're trying to relive the young times and things like that. And I think that's one of the reasons why this book is the way it is. Is she was married to someone, he chose professionalism. She could have not even got married. She should have, seen through this shit. And she chose. She chose to stay in her marriage for a very rare, long time without even kids or anything else like that. And so now she's 40. She's out of the relationship. And now it's like, oh man, I missed, all this decade or two of living and being, this or that. And so now she's trying to make up for lost time. And there's nothing wrong with that. But then, again, you're going to choose someone younger, right? To relive those years. Then, again, I'm one of those people where if it's two consenting adults, I don't give a shit. But the rest of the world, not a lot of people, but the rest of the world, according to this book, is going to look at you and be like, oh, that's a cute mother and son, or father and daughter. And then it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's weird. For me, again, if you're two consenting adults, love is love, right? That's how I look at it. That's how I've always looked at it. That's why I'm over this book, right? I'm just looking at it and I'm like, it's whatever. It's just, drama. That's all it is. They're trying to make it into that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you all later. Let me know your thoughts down below. Peace out.